So what is the status of my ERC claim? That's probably the most common question I get today from clients who have filed for the ERC and have not received their money yet. And so what happened was in September of 2023, the IRS put in place a moratorium, a temporary pause in processing. And what they said at the time, any claims received after the moratorium was in effect. And so the IRS was concerned about fraud, about folks claiming the ERC either that didn't qualify or without the documentation to substantiate the position or just outright fraudulently. And so they put a pause on processing new ERC claims in order to combat that fraud. And so anything after that September 2023 moratorium was put on hold. Now, in addition to that, attended a IRS seminar on the ERC. It was an in-person seminar a couple months back. And in addition to putting a pause on the new claims, they said they actually stopped processing the existing claims as well. And so, or almost effectively, stopped processing the existing claims. And so this was because the agency wanted to make sure that they weren't paying out fraudulent ERC claims, which is important. We don't want those fraudulent claims going out to the wrong people. So since then, the IRS continued to push back the date. When they first announced the moratorium, they said they were going to process until the new year, 2024, and then early 24. They said they kept pushing the date back, and as of March of 24, the IRS issued an announcement saying that they would start to resume processing potentially in the late spring of 2024. And so, as of this recording right now, we're still seeing it's late spring. We still haven't seen the IRS resume processing of the ERC claims at the similar rates as they did before the moratorium. With that said, we have seen, in fact, we had a client who filed in August of 2022 just receive a letter in the month of May of 2024 stating that the IRS had received the credit, they had processed it, and they were issuing a check, and they expect the check in the next approximately 2 weeks. So we're starting to see a very slow trickle of clients, of folks who are now receiving approval for their ERC claim, but it's been a long road coming. So if you want to know what's going on with the ERC claim, what can you do? Well, first thing you do is you call the IRS. As you know, as you may know, the IRS is, unfortunately, understaffed and overworked. So calling the IRS isn't always the most efficient way. There's often very long hold times, very long wait times. But you could call the IRS, you could talk to an agent, you could ask them if they have processed your check. You could also request a transcript for the periods in question which you filed your ERC return. So if you request a transcript, you could see any payments that the IRS has issued, and you could see if they've issued a payment, that they've processed that return. Which then makes the question, from time to time, we see this as well, where clients, we request a transcript and we see that a check has been issued, but the client never got it. So I may record a separate video on that, but what to do if your ERC check was lost or stolen or otherwise missing, how to handle that. So it seems like we might start to see a slow resumption of the processing of ERC claims. The IRS has said that even though we have a moratorium in place, they still continue to receive as many as 20,000 claims a week for the ERC. So, massive amounts of claims are still flowing into the system. And so the IRS is struggling to ensure that they're doing their diligence and that they that the returns being prepared are not fraudulent in nature, and that the money is going to the business owners who indeed deserve this money and meet the qualifications. So that is the status of the ERC, as of this recording, mid-May of 2024.